Good morning, morning, morning. How is everyone on this Champions Day, Wednesday? What is the day? The 3rd, right? 3rd day of May. Yeah, we're moving fast here along Derby week, guys. Also, the great Steamboat race taking place later this afternoon. And of course, we get into THURBY, Oaks, and then Thunder. Of course, the rain chance is the biggest concern we've got when it comes to the rain setup. Timing is everything. There have been some adjustments here on this rain chance, and it's been back and forth because there is still that same issue we've been talking about with the dry air trying to eat at the system. So that puts everything in question. And of course, we're trying to focus on one spot in Louisville for this, but I don't want to ignore all the areas. Some of you are going to get some of the heavier rain and even some thunder out of this as it moves on by. So I want to make sure to cover all of it. As always, you guys can leave comments, questions, anything I try to, hopefully we'll explain in the next couple of minutes on the setup so you don't have to worry about asking the question. So if I miss your question, just ask it again. Hopefully I will see it in time there. All right, so you guys ready? Let's go. Let's dive into it. We'll start with the live look right now at Turn Showdowns. Beautiful. It is so busy out there, guys. I just left the track. Busy out there on the backside. A lot of folks. Media is increasing too. NBC has arrived. We have all the crew from NBC Sports are here. ESPN, I think, is even here. So, yeah, it's getting busy out there. So that's certainly the highlight. And today is all about celebrating Secretariat Champions Day, and it's also talking about the setup, of course, for the Steamboat race. Everyone's looking at THURBY. THURBY looks good. We're going to cover that. THURBY looks really, really good, and I really think that's going to be one of the highlights in the weather pattern ahead for us. At the moment, we've got a beautiful sunny setup. Boy, it was cold out there this morning. That wind chill had a bite to it. Now it's going to get cold again tonight. Won't have as much wind. So that's the good news, but still it will be another chilly one for us. We'll keep an eye on some of you to the east and some of the valleys. You may be getting close to frost level right now. I think we'll be above that. And the wind may be just strong enough to kind of prevent that, but you'll be close. You'll be close. We'll watch it. Today though, partly sunny sky. It's breezy out there. It'll be breezy this afternoon. We're not expecting wind gusts to be really high, but it will be noticeable. If you're heading to the Steamboat race, watching on the banks of the Ohio, I would plan on temperatures to be in the 50s, even though the airport may be at 60 or so. It'll likely feel like the 50s on the waterfront or at Cactus Park, where you decide to go. If you're on the boats, dress for like 49. Trust me on this. Dress for the 40s, because on the Ohio River with that wind blowing, even if you try to stay in the sun, it is going to be chilly. But I'm telling you, that's one place. There's many places I see where cold weather doesn't bother anyone. The Steamboat race is certainly one of them. People have a great time, even if the wind is blowing, so be mindful of that. All right, this is still part of the same storm system that's been stuck on the weather map for like 4 or 5 days now. giving record snow into areas of the Great Lakes, especially the UP of Michigan. A little bit of rain, snow into areas of the Adirondacks. So it is, even the Poconos getting maybe some snow out of this, but we're right on the edge of it. So the more this begins to weaken, we will get a lighter wind, better weather. But of course, as soon as it moves out of the way and kind of just spins, like a spinning top, basically, it's been constantly spinning like crazy, but it's losing its momentum, slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. And as it does so, our wind's decreasing. But as soon as it moves out of the way, it opens up a whole other door now for another system to roll in. And that's where we get into the Oaks setup that comes into play. So let me show you our in-house model, and then I'll show you another version of this in a second. So this afternoon, we'll be in the 60s tonight. Chilly again. Again, this model is going 39. I don't know if we'll get to that level in Louisville, but some of you will get in the 30s, I think, tonight. We'll just need to watch the wind speed for any frost potential. Tomorrow, good-looking day. Partly sunny. We'll see temperatures that will get into the 70s, which sounds so falling right now to think about 70-degree weather, but it is coming. So if you're heading to Thurby, I think you've got a good setup to be out there. No problems I see whatsoever. Now we get into Oaks, and here comes the system. You got to remember, it's not as organized here as it is into the west of us. So it's a little more of a wave of moisture coming our way. Now, this model in particular, it's interesting to me. It's going 75 degrees. Its last update had widespread rain and in the 50s. So there is a lot of disagreement here on how much moisture is going to survive as it heads eastbound because of, again, that push of the wind, basically still eating away at this, limiting how much moisture can get all the way to the Ohio River. Now, this is the in-house model, and it's already fluctuated a lot, as I just explained, from its last run to this one. So that makes it very much an unreliable source at the moment, doing this kind of action back and forth. So when I switched over to the Euro model, it doesn't have a ton of wrinkle, but it's good on Thurby. When you get into Oaks, it does show the wave moving in, and its most recent run, which you can't see here, there's like a mid run that takes place this morning. It was roughly about 6 a.m. We're not able to display it, but I can tell you that it was a little more aggressive on the rain side of things for Friday night. That's the key point in this, though. It does look like this is going to take some time to get the moisture into our area. So at the moment, much of Oaks Day, I don't see any issues at all. It's probably going to be fairly overcast, and that overcast will get a little darker, if you will, as the clouds lower as we do the afternoon. But once we get into race time for the run for the Lilies and then into the overnight, that's where it gets tough because it's really close. I'm talking about to the point where you can get some heavy downpours in E-Town, Brandenburg, Hardinsburg, and then Louisville would have a light rain, and those in Indiana may not even get more than just sprinkles. So it's a very tight gradient on how this could play out. But the idea that it's so close to us, we just really got to keep an eye on this. It's going to be close to the race, but the good news is I do think majority of this is going to be at night and not impacting the day, which hopefully helps. Now, on Derby Day, this system is kind of dragging its feet to get out of here. So I do think we're going to have some drizzle around Derby morning. The issue here is, will the clouds clear on Derby? How many times have we seen that scenario where we've got to deal with low clouds that get stuck and it takes a while for them to kind of break up? There are signs it wants to break up. There are other models that just keep us overcast the entire day. This is the Euro at 6 p.m. and it's still mainly cloudy. So there is an issue here. There's a big bust potential on Derby Day, mainly for temperature. You get stuck under the clouds, temperatures are really going to struggle to warm much at all, maybe into the 60s. If we break out in sun, we're talking about 75 to 80 for a high temperature on Derby. Big difference on that. And it's all based on the clouds. And it really is going to be a tough one here. We need a little more. We have more high-res data that it will be able to decipher these questions. I'm kind of asking to myself in a very rhetorical area right now. But those models can't see this entire system yet. They're getting there. And they will by this afternoon. They'll be able to see it. That will help tremendously because right now we've got a kind of a poor grid to work with. We need a little more fine grid so we can kind of narrow down, because when you deal with a buffer zone of just a few counties, and timing matters. At any other time of the year, this is where it matters. So that's the reason why you're probably going to see more adjustments in the forecast as we get down the road. I did move the rain chance to a 40% spike as we head into Friday night. But you see how the window is relatively short. We'll start it in the afternoon because moisture is going to increase a lot. So it's just a matter of how long does it take to reach the ground. We got to put that chance in there. You get into the nighttime hours, that's when we'll likely see at least an increase on the radar and then a gradual decrease. Now, the gradual part, the second part of this bar graph, may last a while because, again, the system may drag its feet getting out of here. So that's what we're watching for Thurby, Oaks, and Derby. Overall for Derby, to give you an idea, too, on its rain potential. I mean, look, the flash flooding risk just came out. This is moments ago. And it's got the flash flooding potential all the way up to just north of E-Town, not far from Lebanon Junction. And then it's got a slight risk even down to Bowling Green near Western campus. Not here, because, again, it's so close. Some of you could even get some thunder out of this. So I think those of you in this zone, if you're in Breckenridge County, LaRue, over into Adair, you could get a good inch of rain out of this kind of a setup. Here in Louisville, with our wave, it probably is going to be more in line of a quarter to half inch scenario, the way it's looking right now. But again, the more south and west you travel, you're going to get into more of the heavier rain bands. And the same can be said for those of you to the north. You'll have a lighter rain scenario from Jennings County into Carroll. Not much to talk about there. All right, so let's, I did adjust the number for Derby down to 71 because I want to try to account for the split here on the clouds dragging. I want you guys to fully be aware that, again, if we get more of a signal the clouds are going to linger, that number is going to go down. If we get a signal the clouds clear out, we'll be able to move it way up again. But right now, I'm kind of splitting the difference on this. I'm being Switzerland today. So that's how it's going to play out. All right, so there you go. By the way, I didn't have the extended. I didn't have the extended in here, but we do get into a summer pattern coming up. Several days in the 80s. Where was that when we needed it in thunder, right? So several days in the 80s, but it will come at the cost of rain. It's going to be a relatively humid pattern, relatively speaking. So you're going to be active with showers and thunderstorms, especially about Tuesday to Wednesday, looks like next week. So, and we may have to get back into severe weather once again. Okay. Any questions I can answer for you guys? So, what did you say, Angela? I look like a handicap. Yeah. Tawana says I look like I'm selling something. I forgot what she said I was selling. Cigars? Oh, peanuts. I think it was Tawana that said that. Somebody said I was sound like I was look like a salesman today, which I guess is fitting. What you say, Josh? Worst time of the year? Can this week be over already? It's busy time. This is when there's a lot of stress. Everyone was all about the cold weather around here. Thank you, Nancy. It is the hard job. It's only difficult because we want to get it. Obviously, we want to get it right. We want to get it down to the hour. As meteorologists, no one wants to talk about it, but we all remember 2018 and how haunting of a Derby day that was. I'll never will forget that upper low that came through here, record rainfall. Everyone remembers that, I think, is watching right now. That was very haunting because we had zero data that showed that. That's scary, and that's not that long ago, right? So we are hoping that we can rely on some of these finer tuned models, but sometimes they're not perfect. They're not perfect. So we're trying to get the hints of the trends. We're trying to account for what traditionally happens in this scenario. There's a lot of factors to this, but I promise you that we're working on it constantly. We are constant contact. We're constantly looking over the data. Every time the data updates, we reach out to each other and like, okay, what do you think? What do you think? What do we do? Because we want to make sure that we kind of make sure we get this down to the point to eliminate the noise that the models can have sometimes of extremes. So I hope that makes sense. So we'll worry about it. Let us do the worrying. We'll keep you updated. Enjoy the beautiful weather that is coming our way, though, in the short term. Shonda, my sister is in the Survivors Parade. Oh, that's sweet. And I think Don G is once again going to be a host in that, walking with you guys out there. Right now, the rain chance, I think if we start to get something that could get close to Churchill Downs, looks to be around 3 or 4 o'clock, which I believe the Survivors Parade is, I think it's in the 5 o'clock hour is the parade. I'm pretty sure. But we may have a light rain in there, but it'll be close. But you know what? Right now, the odds are higher since we're dealing with, racing Churchill Downs. Odds are higher to being dry than wet. So I hope that helps. Stay close to the forecast. It doesn't look like to be a heavy rain at all. It looks to be a light rain. So I hope that's good. All right, guys. I think everyone's good for today. I'm going to go ahead and jet. I got to get, I got new models to look at and take care of the updates. Jessica and I have, of course, a full update with you guys coming up at 11 a.m. on midday. So hang tight, guys. Enjoy today. Enjoy that warmer weather. It's coming our way, and we'll see how Oaks and Derby play out. We'll keep you updated. Take care, and I'll see you on the other side, guys. Oh, yeah, it's going to be at Warren. That's the extended. I did have it in there. Huh. Well, there you go. See, look, that's a lot of orange in that extended map. Enjoy that.